Warning: Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, and violence. Listener discretion advised. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Riichi.
I'm Tiff, and I'm playing Kuniyui.
I'm Paul, and I'm playing Shishiro Bisho.
With the disappearance of Ryuji and his daughter Mariko into the spirit realms, and the mysterious presence of a seemingly mortal Inari deposited into Ningendo, our characters find their way north to the lands of the Fox Clan and the haunted Kitsune Mori. Here they hope to do research into the spirit realms and the nature of Inari, now going by the name Sen, in order to return her to her proper place and to rescue Ryuji and Mariko. So, you all start to travel north up along the River of Gold, up past the Uebi marshes and all that, leaving all those wetlands behind, passing the plains of the southern Scorpion lands, and making your way up into the lands of the Fox. It's several days' journey, but you all find yourself kind of just focusing on the road, camping when you can, taking rest where you can, switching off who's running the horse, who's riding on the back half of it, who's going back to help guide Sin and their horse to keep things moving along. But overall, you're able to make pretty good time until you get to the lands near the Kitsune. And there, the environment takes on a whole nother dimension as you get into the Kitsune Mori. You have these tall, pristine stands of trees, and it is lush and green. It is mossy. The air holds on to moisture and water, and it's kind of like moving through a mist. So you're now in this kind of otherworldly place of the Kitsune Mori, like I said, of this wonderfully cool air, the mossy ground, and every once in a while you've seen roadside shrines, but now you come across a whole host of Jizo statues, little round-headed praying figures, and just a whole host of them together. We're talking like dozens of them all together, with kind of one thing separating it from the rest of the crowd. Someone is sitting there amongst the Jizo statues.
Bisho's there. His umbrella is not like fully unfurled because it's like, tree canopies about, but just kind of standing / looks like they're in the middle of a dance as usual, kind of bopping around, and they see you in the distance and stands up and swings their umbrella to their shoulder and bows. Hello, playmates.
Hello, Bisho.
I wasn't expecting you to be here so soon. Didn't you have a dinner and a few other things to do in Spiritlands?
How would you know about that, Bisho-san?
Word gets around.
I thought you left at the shrine.
I left right before town, and then came back to check up, and then left again.
And you passed us on the road.
No. Which way did you take?
We took the main road.
Oh, I didn't. I never take the main road.
Yui just rolls her eyes at that particular statement.
So, how's the trip been? Have you been followed?
I don't believe so. We have been making decent time.
That's good. I made very good time. I've been here a few hours maybe.
Only a few hours?
I'm on foot, not on a horse.
I just am surprised that you managed to time it so well.
Well, it's just like every other place I've been going to. I've had impeccable timing. Thank the kami.
Yeah. Well, do we have room? Oh, no, we don't. We don't really have room on our horses. We have 2 horses.
The 3 horses, Sin and the urn are on the 3rd, so not much room there either for Bisho. But it's kind of slow going now that you've made your way into the forest, so Bisho can walk alongside if they'd like. They seem to have been traveling just fine on foot anyways.
It doesn't seem like it's too far away either. But we'll slow down a little bit. It'd be nice for the horses to get a little bit of a rest here and there.
Well, I'd figured if, you chose this of all places to rest, you might have had some sore feet by now, but no, maybe you're a bit more calloused than I thought.
Oh, I guess that's a good way to put it. So is the plan still on for what we're doing in this area?
In describing that in the most vaguest way possible, probably.
Well, you never know who's behind the next tree.
For myself, I believe that I can get access to the archive at Kuden Kitsune. There was a research agreement between them and the library at Kuden Doji on some of the wildlife that I might be able to leverage. I don't know for sure, of course, but I can try. But we probably should find an inn, make ourselves presentable, wash off the dust of the road before we present ourselves at the gates.
Always, of course.
Need to figure out a gift. So maybe we can look in town for figure out something appropriate.
A gift for whom?
For entry.
Oh, that's right. Bisho has that I'm totally human and I know what you're talking about look on his face right now.
It is protocol after all.
Of course.
It'll take a little bit to figure out what we should get. So
Yeah. You start making your way. It's another couple hours before you'll make towards to the town that surrounds Kuden Kitsune. But 4 hours of walking and moving with the horses and chatting now and reunited with all your friends together, it's not long before you start to see the nearly entirely stone edifice that is the Kuden Kitsune, a castle where it is almost all stone, where most Rikugani ones are made of mostly wood with the stone foundations. The Kitsune are, how should we say, hesitant to chop down any of the trees in their sacred forest to the Kitsune Mori. So they do the best to make sure that their fortification is built with as much stone and then made up the rest with lumber that is either from, that which washes ashore or has fallen over in the forest naturally, and they can harvest the wood that way. But the whole even town around Kuden Kitsune is very dispersed, very spread out. Lots of large distances between buildings, as if they have decided to just leave the trees there and have built around the natural forest. So they've just made room where they could instead of tearing down trees and chopping them down to make room for wherever they want. And it's not long before you guys are now kind of finding yourself in the, I guess, the hub of the whole area, and you can start looking around for a place to stay. So what kind of place are you looking for?
I was thinking I'd like to find an inn. I'm hoping to find that there's a marketplace or town too that we can take a look at as well.
This would be it. This is kind of the major Fox holding. So pretty much this is the center of their commerce and a world to the outside is here. So pretty much if you want to kind of find something to go through a market, and it might take you more time than you're used to of walking quite a bit of distance. It's not like it's a kind of centralized downtown. Like I said, everything is very spread out in this area because they're making room for to keep the trees and everything healthy and alive and growing. But so it might take a little longer, but you could pretty much find most things you would find in a castle town.
All right, sounds good. I'd like to find like the best gym we can, because that sounds good. And I'm going to ask Sueno to find an appropriate gift. So I am calling on her to do her technique, Tributaries of Trade.
All right, very nice. Let's go ahead and try to find a gift with that as Sueno makes her way through the downtown.
All right.
All right, so with Ricci and Bisho's help, she finds you a scroll case made of found lumber, and with the outside of it kind of encased in a very nice fine red bark chased with silver.
Terrific. That should be good.
Yeah, that should definitely make anyone, I think, in this business of keeping scrolls and records quite happy. But in the meantime, Bisho and Ricci were thinking about trying their hand at finding something as well. So I'm going to give them a chance to have a commerce checks, and in this case, you will have skilled assistance from Sueno.
Sweet.
Okay.
Kind of need that.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so anything you guys are looking for in particular, because with Tributaries of Trade, you get to roll first and then find anything with that rarity or lower. Are you guys going to search for a particular item that you're looking for and then try to roll against the rarity?
I mean, Bisho's probably going for some like baseline, all people kind of like this sort of deal, like just sake. I mean, flying under the radar, not giving anything too presumptuous, but not like giving something that will be completely useless.
Okay, sake is pretty easy. Just basic sake is rarity 1. So the difficulty for that is going to be TN1 to find that with a water commerce check. All right, Bisho, how did your commerce roll go?
It was dismal at first, but I spent a void to turn my materialism into a advantage.
Right now, your pickiness and your desire for the best can actually kick in really well here. So yeah, for a point, we'll let that turn from an adversity into a distinction and let you re-roll 2 dice. And so with that,
I took 2 opportunities, a success and a strife, and I'm going to spend that opportunity for a new friend, or the 2 opportunity for a new friend.
Okay, and so who's your new friend?
They're Kitsune Miyuki. They're a local brewer, and they do seasonal sake like Sakura petal sake, and anytime the season goes and there's a drinkable or edible flower, they might stick it in. Their main characteristic is that they're inventive.
Okay, so let's say that in particular, this season we're getting into autumn. It is fire maple leaf sake.
That actually sounds rather delicious.
So that is what they've gone for this time. And yes, you and Miyuki have become fast friends. And at a bua bottle, they will sell you as much sake as you'd like of their seasonal brew.
Bisha believes in traveling light, and money is just another weight. And if he can convert that Koku into something a little bit more tangible and drinkable, he'll do it because he's kind of a fool.
That's fair. I think we all are. All right. So yeah, go ahead and figure out how much to buy, and let's get over to Ricci. Ricci, what would you like to go shopping for?
I'd like to find some spices nearby, just because they're, variety is the spice of life, and having a little bit more different spices will make things a lot more variable.
Plus, you want to impress Inari here. All right, so the cheapest spices are right around rarity 5, but you are on a city on a major river, the River of Gold, and it's just off the southern coast here, so it's close to the Isles of Spice and Silk. So I think you get a -1 for a city on a coastline, and because the Mantis exports spices and it's nearby, I'm going to give it another -1. So from a rarity 5 to rarity 3.
So with 3 ring dice and 1 skilled assistance from Sueno, I got 1 success.
Yeah, just so many blanks. Either things aren't up to what you consider to be your standards of quality, or far outside your price range, one way or the other. You don't wind up with anything that you're willing to pick up. But still, not too bad.
At which point, I will then go for like a quick, cheap thing. Not really just looking around. It's like, okay, yeah, that's something I can give. It won't look impressive, but at least I'll have something. Yeah, those chopsticks will do fine.
Perfect. There you go. I like it. So you go ahead and pick up some chopsticks. They're not particularly interesting, but there's something. So yeah, with that, everyone can meet back up wherever you guys were meeting at. And let's go ahead and call it, since you were going for a nice inn, because you know what, you guys deserve it after all this time on the road. Let's go ahead and have you guys, after a couple of days on the road, have you meet up at Hinoki no Kadachi, or Cypress Grove.
Nice.
And it is a rather nice establishment where surrounding it on three sides are groves of, well, what do you know, cypress trees. And this is a ryokan and bathhouse. It has kind of all your amenities that you need to make use of here. It is 2 stories with all the guest rooms on top, and you guys can definitely find a room here. It's definitely spacious enough to accommodate your needs. So yeah, you guys find yourselves with some rather nice rooms here at Cypress Grove.
Nice.
How are you guys thinking that you guys want to set this up for your sleeping arrangements?
Well, Bisho definitely feels comfortable about sharing a room with Sin.
Mm-hmm.
So there's at least that.
Richi's getting a room on his own.
On his own? All right.
Gonna jump on that right now.
Oh, why?
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, you do kind of snore a little bit.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's not loud. It's just enough to be troublesome getting to sleep.
I didn't know you were a light sleeper.
Yeah.
All right. Again, how about you?
Well, Suena and I will certainly share a room. I won't object if Yui wishes to share the room as well. It's up to her.
Yui, what do you feel like?
Yui does not care either way. This is like practicality is first and foremost. So she'll just kind of look around and be like, what is the plan?
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so I'm thinking that they can rent you one large room kind of on the north end of things. That could be for the majority of you. That could definitely sleep Sueno and Gen and Yui just fine. And then that could also be for Bisho and Sen if you'd like. But if Bisho and Sen would like a room off to their own, they can take one of these other 2 side rooms, and Richi can have the third one all to themselves.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you guys get unpacked. Richi makes sure that Kodo-san is brought up to his room and given a nice steady place to sit and rest and no longer be jostled about on the back of a horse. Go ahead and make sure the urn's in good condition and everything's fine. And yeah, Kodo-san seems to be doing just fine. But from here on out, yeah, you guys now have a bit of time to relax and enjoy the luxury of the Cypress Grove.
Oh, and Bisho will enjoy.
Sensama, you don't have to stay with Bisho-san if you don't wish. I know you've just met. He's sometimes overly affectionate too quickly.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm the perfect amount of affectionate.
Gen just gives you a look. I was saying to Sensama.
She kind of laughs a bit to herself and says, I'm sure I can fend off whatever advances they might try to pull over on me. I definitely seem to be immune to most of his charms right now.
Of course. I just, as you wish.
In fact, I've grown quite fond of him. It seems like I have someone I can actually take on into my service.
Yui chuckles both at the charms thing and then growing quite fond of.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a bath.
That sounds like a good idea.
I have one last thing to take care of in town, but I might join you in the bath here shortly.
Oh, Ricci.
Yes.
I met a person that you might be very interested in. Their name is Kitsune Miyuki. They're a brewer, and they might fulfill that one thing you need to do way better than what you got in the first place.
I now have 2 things to take care of inside the town. Oh, where might I find this, Kitsune?
I give them directions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I shall return shortly as Ricci goes out carrying his now broken armor.
Oh, good call to give you that repaired.
So yeah, I'll head on out, find someone that's willing to take on and fix some armor, and then I'll head my way over to Kitsune-san's.
All right, so let's say that it is a TN2 water commerce check to find someone that will take on the job of repairing your armor.
Okay.
You're not great with commerce, trying to find someone who will just do the whole job for you, especially when it's something that you know how to do yourself. You just don't have the tools and the workshop available to do it for you.
Maybe I can find someone, just like find a place that I can like rent out a place to work on this armor.
Yeah, I think trying to find yourself a smith and chat someone up and offer to, pay to rent the use of their tools in their workshop for, however long it might take to get the armor repaired. So let's go ahead and say that could be a water smithing check of TN2 to find someone that'll let you rent out the space.
Ooh, that is much better.
All right, so how did that go trying to smooth talk some blacksmiths in town?
It actually worked out pretty well. I have 3 successes and a strife.
That's not bad at all. Yeah, so for 3 successes, someone in town make use of their stalls. That it's the least they can do, especially since you're going to do all the labor yourself. They can go ahead and get onto some other projects that don't have them kind of making use of all of their armoring tools at any one time. So yeah, they're more than happy to let you come in and do the repairs and just kind of let that transfer for a couple of zinni here and there. So it's it should work out. They say come by sometime tomorrow and you can have the run of the place and get some work done while they go out and do some work in town.
Perfect. I will be back in tomorrow then. At which point I will then leave to go visit Kitsune-san.
All right. So for that one, I'm going to go ahead and let you do a water commerce check, but with unskilled assistance from Bisho because it's their friend and they're sending you to go talk to them and name drop them and let them know that they're letting them introduce one friend to another.
Works for me.
And that is TN1 for sake. All right. And how did your little extra shopping trip go?
Well, thanks to the assistance I got from name dropping using Bisho, I got the 1 success I wanted. I also got 2 opportunities and a strife, and I will also make this Kitsune my friend as well.
So Kitsune Miyuki seems like a very friendly, open, outgoing personality, someone who has a real rapport with their customers. They also have just a huge stock of different sakes and liqueur infusions that they've made, including this year's fire maple leaf infused sake that they decided to pour you a sampling and talk with you about it for a while. And soon you're just really engaged with them and coming up with all sorts of ideas of where you might use this in some of your own cooking in the future.
Yeah, and just Ricci takes a little bit of that and drinks a little bit. It's like, this is actually pretty good. Now, I think this would actually go pretty well with some sushi. A little bit of a salmon sushi. I think this would go really well with that.
Some sake with the sake. I like that idea. That could be a really good pairing. And you two start talking back and forth about fish and drink and other foods like that. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take off 3 strife for hitting your gourmet passion.
Woohoo!
And yeah, after that, you've picked up another couple of bottles at a boo piece, and you can make your way back to the bathhouse now, where you're going to meet up with everyone who's gone ahead and sauntered into the bath. So let's go ahead and fade over to there. All right, so back at Cypress Grove, the 3 of you find yourself in a set of pools in this wonderful cypress bathtubs, just these very large tubs made for soaking and just letting all of the wariness drain out of your body. It is hot and steamy, and just a little bit of flowing water coming up over the top of the tub to keep it kind of topped off, and it just gives that nice little sound of just very slowly running water over you, and it is just quiet and peaceful, just that little background sound of the water, and just the wonderful sigh of having the weight lifted up off your body and the heat penetrating your muscles, and you're all just about going to jelly as you're resting there in the pools.
After a while, after a very long, quiet soak, Gen finally says, "Do you think Ryuji's okay?"
Richi's probably having a good time. I sent them to someone that was very nice and very passionate about sake.
Not Richi. Ryuji-san.
Sorry. I'm just too relaxed. Oh, yeah.
He getting to your head? Maybe you shouldn't stay that long. Just saying.
My skin isn't wrinkly yet. But no, Ryuji should be fine.
What do you think happened? Well, you weren't there. How would you know? Yui-san, what do you think happened?
Honestly, I haven't thought that much about it. It's... Honestly, things have been so crazy. This is maybe the first time I've had to sit and think for a bit. Dude, I mean, what do you think then?
I don't know. I don't understand any of this. Obviously.
Well, what are the parts that you do understand? Maybe I can piece them together.
Because you're a Shigenja?
Yeah.
All right. As a Shigenja. Well, let's just say that I was not taught much about cosmology in Shizuka Toshi. All right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not been an area of study. Yes, my parents took me to all the shrines that they were supposed to take me to and did all the things they were supposed to. But why don't we start with you explaining what these different realms are? What is that? What are the different realms? Where is Nari from? Why isn't she there? Where did Ryuji go? How do you get from one to another? Maybe we'll start with that.
Oh, a little Shigenja 101, huh?
What is 101?
Some weird gaijin term that I picked up long ago. It means starting course, but I think you have to have some building blocks to begin with to take one of those classes.
No, I thought it meant one-on-one. Like, I thought you were, like, trying to tell me to leave. Not that that would have worked, by the way, because you are definitely going to be all bassed out before me.
Well, I don't think Gin's particularly interested in me anyways.
That's not even... What? Hold up. No, not what I meant. Not what I meant. No.
What is so what you meant then?
Like a fight or a conversation.
Oh, there's many ways to have conversations and fighting in that way. You were in Lion Lands. You saw some of the things I did.
Well, I'm just gonna, and you just kind of sinks under and just kind of blows some bubbles for a bit and just...
Remember to come up for air. So are you going to dodge this introductory lesson or what, Bisho-san?
I can say a few things. Out of character. I don't remember any of this.
That's fair. I can feed you some of it if you'd like, or kind of give them a brief idea.
I think you giving a little bit brief idea will be a little bit better.
So yeah, we'll have Bisho kind of go through the introductory to the realms. That we all reside here in Ningendo, the realm of mortals. But outside of us, there are several spirit realms. The closest to us is Senko, and that involves a land that is much like Rokugan, but not quite. It's like a fantastical Rokugan, as if man had not risen to power. In fact, in Senko, enlightened animals have come to power, and there are two competing camps there. There are the high-minded ideals of the animals of Chikshudo, who have taken to Shinsei's teachings and believe that they are on a rising step from animal intelligence towards human intelligence onto an enlightened state of nirvana, and that by living a good life in Chikshudo and following those ways, they might be reincarnated next as a human, and from there they might fulfill their dharma and continue on to that blissful state that of enlightenment that Shinsei taught. Meanwhile, the other camp of animals in Sakaku, the realm of mischief, they have decided that humanity is not a step forward. If you look to Ningendo and you see what humanity has done to their environment, to the natural world, not just to the natural world, but to each other, that they cause war and cause famine because of their short-sighted ideals of what food should be grown where and how they should, radically change the landscape, and just that overall humanity is a step backwards, and that following Shinsei's ideals, like Chikshudo does, betrays the nature of what it means to be an enlightened animal. And because of that, Sakaku is known as the realm of mischief, because these animals, when they do get a chance to travel to Ningendo, cause mischief and mayhem, and they strike out against humanity in several ways. Whether it is pulling a prank to all the way of taking a life, it can vary from individual to individual with Sakaku. But either way, most samurai do not really enjoy Sakaku, and it's the way they poke fun at and try to undermine the celestial order that they have arisen in. Then above Senko, the close realm, we have the high realms, and one of those that is nearby, but still moving into the higher realms, is Yumedo. Now, Yumedo is the realm of dreams, and any mortal can travel there. Just getting a good night's sleep and traveling from one place to another in your dreams can bring you there. There are some groups that study a form of magic called Yumeji, where you do lucid dreaming, where they can take control of their dreams and make use of traveling to the spirit realm to create castles in the sky, and where any peasant can be a lord. And so, yeah, that would be all the close.
All right.
Well, that was a lot.
So,
Oh, okay, Bisho.
I mean, do I have to repeat it? Any of it?
Oh, no, no. You know what? I'll just ask you anyways. Again, if it's relevant, if it's something. I mean, most of the stuff I at least vaguely remember. No, not really. No, not really. This isn't honestly relevant. Usually to me.
Usually. Well, depends if you do funerals or not. You got to make sure that, everyone gets to the right place.
I usually do the silent ones, but not usually my thing anyways. But yet, I mean, everyone's heard stories of, animals and such from Chikshudo. Everyone's heard those stories, and everyone's heard stories of Kami in the various realms, and where you try to aim to be. But that level of detail,
I mean, again, is intelligent, and I think, well, again, you can handle all the information I can give you.
yes, I mean, but so does Inari then live in Chiksudo?
Yes.
That's why.
Oh, that's why she was going to take our companions there. And Bisha kind of gets a look of like if anybody's listening in.
Well, I mean, they have already left, so yeah. But yeah, I still don't know why why Inari is where she is right now.
Well, there's probably some other better questions. If you again can tell me who else was there. Because Inari would not do it to herself and leave herself in that state.
Well, it was us minus you.
Mm-hmm. Naturally.
Our two companions who then left. Oh god, being vague is hard. It was
Okay, just say it and you're struggling too much.
There was Seiji, and there was Mariko and Ryuji, of course. And then, right at the moment that they were going to go on some sort of giant turtle thing,
Mm-hmm.
Ryuji put down Mariko, and she cried. And when she cried, then Kaguya showed up.
Really?
This vision of Kaguya, and as she cried, Kaguya became more and more vivid and more dressed in majestic clothes, and then they all disappeared.
And how much do you actually believe this actually happened?
What do you mean?
You don't exactly believe in a lot of spiritual things.
That's not quite it. And I don't think I'm anywhere near drunk enough to talk about it with you.
Fair enough.
believe in, take stock in, trust. There's so many multifaceted ways you could call that. But yes. I feel like I should be just drinking right now.
And with that, Ricci opens up the door, carrying a small bottle with him, and says, I heard something about drinks.
You did.
Ricci, you gift from the fortunes.
Or preferably from the sake house.
Why not both?
I'd much rather be drinking sake than having anything to do with the fortunes right at this particular moment.
Whew, I can understand that. But yeah, let me pour out a little bit of sake for everyone, and I'll brought a little bit of the smaller cups and just pour out a little bit for everyone while getting into the bath as well.
Just give me one of the big ones.
You can't appreciate it properly that way, Yui-san.
It's a different way to appreciate these things.
As much as I'm with you on this one, just to shoot it and down it out at once, you do want to savor the taste on these. This, I believe, was a fire leaf sake from our very good friend Kitsune-san. Bisho, thank you for the introduction. I have a friend in this town.
You can be pen pals now.
Ooh, that's a good point.
All right.
She does fantastic sakes that are seasonal. She finds different plants and leaves to put into the sake, and it works. I never thought of anything like this before, but it works.
All right. Well, if you're so convinced that it must be done this way, well, I mean, you also paid for it, so fine. I will humor this method.
I mean, just savor the first couple of steps. After that, do what you will.
Okay. All right. We're on the same page now then. Gotcha.
At which point, Ricci just kind of like reclines back against the side and says, so what were we talking about? Sounds like a little bit of a heated discussion.
Slight review of recent events. You know that I missed a lot of things by not being in the right place.
Yeah.
It's a gift you have, for sure. I hope it serves you well.
Oh, Bisho's great at being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just
But I'm always helpful when I'm in the wrong place at the right time.
you certainly do your best. And I'll give you that.
But at least it sounds like you're all caught up now.
Oh, I think I might be missing a thing or two, but the overall gist. I think I am caught up. So, what prompted all of you to leave town? What was the triggering factor?
Oh, Yuichi-san looked like he was going to start asking more questions about Zen, and I've had to dance around too many awkward conversations in the last few days. I did not need to be interrogated on that.
I mean, was he just interested or was he interested?
Oh, I think he guessed that Sen might not be doing very much protecting of Lord Gon.
Well, that's going to be very evident once, well, it's probably just evident right now.
Well, either way, best to not force anybody else into an awkward position and making anybody else need to tell any lies. All he needed to know was that we had to leave, and we had to leave so quickly that we only left food for him. That's the story he can tell, and it's the truth. And we can deal with any curiosities later, when apparently we need to go visit Lord Susume sometime later.
Yeah, that's gonna be awkward.
Well, no, it could be good, but I think the problem is that because we definitely are putting it off as long as possible, we're gonna start off on the wrong foot, you know?
I mean, didn't you all write reports for him?
We wrote a report.
I mean, that should be good enough, right?
That doesn't mean he's not going to have questions.
Well, we're out of his lands now.
He wanted Mariko.
Well, Marco's hopefully in a safer place now.
Right, and he's going to try and figure out where she really is from us. You think there's a chance he will believe the truth, but really?
Well, in order to tell him the truth, we need to figure it out ourselves. We need to find out where Mariko is actually at.
I'm pretty sure she's where she was going to go in the first place. Pretty sure that's what happened.
Then why is Sen here?
That is a great question, but I don't think that it implies that that's because it's not. Because like Chiksho is not in Ari's realm. Like she doesn't own the whole realm. There's plenty of other inhabitants of it.
Is there? I don't know.
Yeah, at minimum, just tons of animals and like creatures like kitsune and stuff. You've heard those stories.
All right.
I mean, the nice kitsune from Chiksudo.
I mean, you were part of one of those stories according to the stories.
What?
Yes, which is where I don't want to be questioned.
I mean, it sounds like it would make a marvelous play, though.
That's just what I need. I just want to go write my book.
Hey, Bisho, are there bugs in Chiksudo?
Well, yes.
Bugs are animals, yeah? Right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're smart ones.
Jen. This might be awesome.
Yeah.
You might get to talk to some bugs.
That would be...
Then you can be the one doing the interrogating.
Yes. I'll be fascinated to understand why the gray spider rates correspond to a decrease in brown locusts, which also corresponds to an increase in the yield of tea.
I wonder if they'd have answers to those questions. Because, like, that kind of it certainly can ask. That kind of question, I feel like you'd need to find a talking bug who's as interested in those kind of numbers as you are. Because, like, if you were to ask me as, like, something like, why, if there are more crab clan samurai in an area, why does all of the sake in the area disappear? And that's something I'm making up right now. It's not even a real number thing. And I don't know the answer.
Well, you just have to calculate the capacity of the average crab to drink how much sake. and what the recovery time is.
Speaking of,
Yeah, I'll pour you another cup.
yeah, I already poured myself like 2.
I was just saying, I thought I was speaking things that were sounding foreign. Ish.
What do you mean?
The capacity of what now? Crabs versus liters of what?
Sake.
Yeah. I'd rather just drink the sake and talk to the crab.
Because you'd have to make an average, because obviously not every cab has the same capacity for drinking sake. So it'd have to be some sort of, general average across the population.
You lost me again.
What?
Gen's super smart,
Mm-hmm.
and just accept that this is way beyond you.
Oh, I have accepted those things a long time ago.
This is why I trust Gen. This is not the only reason I trust Gen for a lot of reasons. But this is one of the many reasons I trust Gen to take care of so much stuff. Like, honestly, if Gen says we should definitely do a thing, like,
Mhm.
I am almost always in support of that. Because she's thinking about stuff that, like, isn't even on, like, the menu of my head.
But sometimes going back to rice is a good thing.
Yes, I agree. Rice is a good basic staple of any good meal.
True enough. And what happens if we don't manage to get Inari back for the harvest?
Oh, that's something I'd rather not think about if I don't
mean,
have to.
Some might say people will just live on, harvest rice. Others, well, I'm too relaxed to think about, and I'd rather get too drunk to talk about it.
Or there's a new Inari. So maybe someone took over her post while she was out. You know? I don't know.
Is that a thing that can happen?
Like a vacuum gap or a vacuum of power. I don't think.
I mean, I guess a vacuum. I was thinking more like,
I guess if worse does come to worse and something, heavens forbid something does happen, we could make an appeal to the Emperor to name a new fortune of rice.
that's a terrible idea. I love it.
I mean, is that not? How is it a terrible idea?
It is a beautiful idea.
Because we all know the Emperor has that power.
But
they are, the sliver of heaven.
let's not jump to conclusions and start asking the Emperor to name a new kami of rice.
I was saying that's as a worst case scenario. Let's not necessarily outright dismiss it, but it's not going to be the first thing we go to.
How much have you had to drink?
Look, only a couple of cups, but that's beside the point.
Must have started early.
I had to taste some stuff, and the heat of the bath is.
Do you know what it would take just to get to the Imperial City?
Yeah, this is like my 5th. So y'all are slow. I've been appreciating this way harder than all of you guys. Look at how good I am at appreciating.
Indeed, you have.
You are appreciating the most out of all of us. I don't think anyone can argue.
Thank you, Bisho.
You'll appreciate us all under the table.
There is no table here. We're in a bath, which I don't think you're supposed to stay in a bath too long while drinking. Oh well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The bath is nice. The sake is nice. Both maybe a little too much.
Let's get food.
Well, before we go get food, I gotta ask one more thing. Bisho, son,
Yes.
are you going to bail on us again?
Not for a while.
Are you going to stick with us? Or are you going to be heading off to wherever every couple of days?
I stick nearby. I'm never too far off.
Then why don't you just...
I mean, can you explain all your actions to your lords?
I know. It feels like it's really hard to count on you sometimes, Bisho-san. I want to.
Well, as long as we're in these lands, I will make effort to stick by, well, your side, Kenny's side. Well, even Richi's.
Gee, thanks.
Well,
All right.
yeah. I know my word isn't too much, but at least it's something.
I know you have other commitments. We all have other commitments. Hard to find people to count on.
I know. And I know I haven't been the best friend for the past 5 years. Even Ryuji himself said that I haven't responded to letters. I mean, I don't blame you for being upset with me. I don't blame anyone for being upset with me. Frankly, Bisha's a terrible person. I'm a terrible person.
Could be better though. Like, you are.
It was good what you did with the ninjas. Those shinobi, I couldn't quite see what you were doing, but that was pretty good.
Oh, there's a reason. You weren't supposed to see what I was doing.
Well, it was dark. But thank you for lighting the lantern. I appreciate it. Got a couple shots off.
I saw.
Were you the one who made the sake house like all scary? I saw you go into the other room, and then the sake house went scary-ish. I figured.
Yeah, that was.
Since obviously you're Shikinja, you did something.
Yeah, that. I'll tell you the truth. That was me.
I had a thought, but I wasn't sure.
I really did not like that man.
Yeah, he was a piece of work.
Those sort of people show up and these kind of situations. We were just talking about power vacuums. Getting rid of him would have just made another one. For a worse person to show up, apparently that guy took over what was a worse situation. Like, we got that confirmed. That's why we didn't do anything else. That's why we didn't, take matters into our own hands.
But I have seen villages band together and get rid of troublesome people. Chase them out.
And then what? Do you stick around and see what happens afterwards? Or do you just enjoy the party of kicking somebody out and everyone has a great time until the next worse person shows up and makes everything even more of just problems for them? You stick around for the fun parts?
I would have to go back to that village and find out.
See, that's my point. You stick around only for the fun parts. You don't see what happens afterwards.
It's puzzling sometimes what I can do and what I shouldn't do and should do.
Same for all of us. None of us really know what we should do, but you generally try to if you're gonna rile up a whole town, you should probably at least take responsibility for what happens next. The people, the vacuum,
More alcohol.
Yes.
Yep, more alcohol.
Yeah.
Out of the bath.
Everyone getting on my level.
Yeah, let's take this out of the bath and over to a good. Let's do this over a good meal.
Agreed.
I'm Robert, Orbayushi Shinichi, your host and narrator. Thank you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday, and if you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames. To reach out to us, email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
I'm Tiff, and I played Kuniyui. You can also find us on the web at courtgamespod.com, Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and Twitter at L5RFNS.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Ricci. You can find me on Twitter or on Twitch as CourtGames.
I'm Paul, and I was playing Shishura Bisho. If you want to follow my other projects, I am the GM of 2 LGBT+ podcasts, Tales of Swordfall at Swordfall D&D for D&D 5e, and Gates of Orchid and Iris at GOIL5R for L5R 5e.
This was Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. If you like, you can also find me on the CourtGames RPG podcast, at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with the Rokugani Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.